Hey, it's Cold Warrior again with another edition of Cold Warrior TV. Let's just jump right into it. Do you want to learn how to elect better people? Will you act rather than just talk? If so, keep watching. Have you figured out that after 5 years of a Marxist presidency, that no cavalry is coming to save America? That the current Republicans will not fight? We must change them out, no? Look, we've got a two-party system in America. So, are you a conservative? Which of these two parties are you in? Do you know what "in" means? And do you realize that the Republican Party is at half strength probably where you live? So you quit jabbering and rallying and actually unite and organize politically for real political action. Real political action to change the outcome of the elections, because isn't that really the main thing? Isn't that what we should be striving for, to elect better people? I will tell you how to help elect better people, but you will have to spend at least a couple of hours a month at a party committee meeting. Obama used this strategy to beat the other Dems in the 2008 primary season. So real quick, Dems versus Republicans. Democrats are basically Marxists, socialists, progressives. They're for Obamacare. They're anti-American, and they're postmodernists. Republicans, according to the platform, embrace free markets, liberty, God-given rights. They believe that the individual is supreme and that America is good. So, remember this saying, united we stand, divided we fall? How united are we? So how do we unite politically? So, political wars are fought by political parties, no? And are you a card-carrying member of your political party? Well, let's see here. You probably aren't. Have you voted for your local county, state, and national party officers? I mean, do you know who elects the RNC chairman? So to change things, we got to change the laws, right? To change the laws, we got to change the people who make the laws. To get elected, your candidate has to be on the ballot. To get on the November ballot, your candidate must win the traditionally very low turnout primary election. To win the primary, a candidate must get the support of people who make endorsements in the primary, who reliably vote in the primary, and who get out the votes of others in each precinct. Those people are the precinct committeemen of the party. Party precinct committeemen are the best people to help get out the vote in the all-important, traditionally very low turnout primary election and also in the general election. They're the only party people who can vote to elect party officers. In essence, party precinct committeemen are the party. And most candidates, most incumbents, and most party officials don't want you to know that. That's why I'm telling you. So is your country worth a few hours a month of your time? You know, preaching to the conservative choir all day on the internet does not grow our party at all. So this is what most people do. Did you hear the latest? Oh my God, check out this. It starts on Twitter, then Facebook, then Hot Air. Go look at Red State, then Breitbart. Tea Party and conservative blogs, Fox News, conservative talk radio. We all talk about issues in a circle, day after day after day. But there's this wall of separation. It seems to be an invisible wall of separation between all of this activity and what really works. And what really works is getting involved in your Republican Party local committees. Conservatives could take over the Republican Party right now. The party has about 400,000 precinct committeeman slots, and 200,000 of them are empty. So conservatives, you've got to unite and organize for real political action where you live. And the place to do that is inside the party at your local party monthly committee meeting. So take a look at this. Which of these two parties is better? On the left, is what the Republican Party is right now. Conservatives are in about 25% of the PC slots, moderates in about 25%, 50% are vacant. We've got a half-strength, ideologically split party with no message and no ground game. Now, look at on the right. This is what our party could be if conservatives got involved. Conservatives would enjoy 75% majority in the party. They'd run it. They'd have a full strength, 75% solidly conservative, landslide win producing political powerhouse of a political party. This is probably the most important slide in this presentation. Imagine if all grassroots conservative groups would now pivot and the members would unite inside a political party. The result would be this: we'd control the outcome of the primary elections and we'd be able to elect all the party officers. So if all the Tea Party groups over there on the left, the Ask a Mom folks, the 912ers, the Smart Girl Politics people, the gun groups, Sarah PAC, Patriot Action Network, evangelical Christians, all the conservative groups would unite in one more place once a month at their respective monthly committee meetings where they live, at their local party committee meetings. We would have a completely different political landscape. It's not hard to become a precinct committeeman. So what I just told you, has the party establishment ever explained this to you? They haven't, because they don't want you to make the party more conservative. So example, in Arizona, there aren't any dues to be a precinct committeeman. You can be appointed to a vacancy between primary elections, because the precinct committeemen are elected in the primary election. And all you have to do to get on the ballot is 10 signatures or fewer, and that number depends upon how many registered Republicans are in your precinct. My precinct got about 1,200 registered Republicans. I had to get 10 signatures to get on the ballot and run. It's easy. And the party will provide you with walking sheets and a map and all that. It takes 45 minutes to get 10 signatures. So, and like I just said, your local party committee will help you with all of this. All you got to do is go to the meetings and tell them you want to become a precinct committeeman. And each state has unique requirements. None are onerous. So in Maricopa County, we are a typical county. Only 50% of the allotted Republican Party precinct committeeman slots are filled. It's pathetic. And of the 724 precincts that we have, 40% don't even have a single precinct committeeman. So look at this marvelous graphic here. Which precinct has a better chance to have as many voters as possible vote? And keep in mind, primary election turnout averages are about 20 to 25%. The one with a single precinct committeeman or no precinct committeeman, or the one where all the precinct committeeman slots are filled, like mine. We've got 12 slots, all 12 are filled, and we do quite well with get out the vote. So what prevents you from getting involved in party politics? The bottom line, it's only you. This is just basic American civics in action. It's not rocket science. I learned this stuff in 7th grade in a civics class back in the 70s, where I grew up in Wisconsin in a public school. The party establishment isn't going to tell you about this because you're a threat to them. And the incumbent conservatives won't tell you about this because they fear you might do this and then support a more conservative challenger in the all-important, traditionally very low turnout primary election. So, do you have any examples of a conservative Republican Party incumbent telling you to become a voting member of the party? Think about it. Have you ever received a mailer from the party telling you to get involved like this? Bottom line, the reason the Republican Party isn't conservative enough for some complaining conservatives is because not enough of those same complaining conservatives are inside the party as precinct committeemen. So truth time, do you know your precinct's name? It's got one. I know mine. You know your precinct's boundaries? It has boundaries. I know mine. Know any Republicans in your precinct? I know quite a few. Do you know your fellow precinct committeeman? Or not fellow, maybe you're a precinct committeeman already, but do you know who the precinct committeemen are in your precinct? Ever been to your monthly Republican Party local committee meeting? I go every month. good people there. So here's what won't win elections. Twittering all day, Facebooking, all that isn't going to get any greater number of conservatives to the polls because you're just preaching to the conservative choir. The best way to increase voter turnout is by a personal contact with the low information, low propensity voters. Precinct committeemen gain access to get out the vote software to help them efficiently contact these low information, low propensity voters, and that's about 35% of the Republican and conservative voters. And this works, it's just common sense. With a little coordination and organization, the precinct committeeman in my precinct doubled Republican turnout in a mayoral race with just 3 to 4 hours of targeted get out the vote by each of us. And all that consisted of was some phone calls and literature drops. So, will you just sit on the sidelines, or will you do more than just tweet and complain, or will you take real political action and unite and organize where you live inside your Republican Party at your local party committee meeting? So how do you find your local committee? You can call your county Republican committee chairman. You can call your state Republican committee chairman and say, hey, the county chairman isn't returning my phone calls. How do I get involved in where I live in the Republican Party? You can search the web. Many legislative district committees and county committees now have websites. And let's face it, you're a resourceful American, aren't you? Do what it takes, whatever it takes. Be the squeaky wheel. Make phone calls, make phone calls, make phone calls. Find your local committee, go to the meeting, and figure out how to become a precinct committeeman where you live. And then after you become one, you got to read the rules of the Republican Party. They're on the RNC website on the council's page. It doesn't take long to read them. You got to read your state committee rules and bylaws, your county bylaws, and your local committee bylaws. This is not hard at all. Here's a silver lining. Most state committees have compiled a precinct committeeman handbook. Ask for it. It'll boil all this down to the essentials. So here's some resources. ThePrecinctProject.wordpress.com, that's my little blog, and I've compiled as much information as I can about this strategy, which I call the Neighborhood Precinct Committeeman Strategy, and whatever I can find about how it all works in each state. PrecinctProject.us, that's a collaborative project of mine and Ron Robinson and American Majority Action. UnifiedPatriots.com, a bunch of us have published articles there about all this under the PC activism menu item. ConcordProject.org, there's how to get out the vote videos there and what's a precinct and all that. Ourvotes.com is the best software that political parties should be using, the Republican Party should be using. And then if you got any questions, there's my email address. And I also blog at Red State, and that's the URL to use to pull up all the articles I've published there. So now you know you don't have an excuse. If we lose our country because you didn't get involved, you've been told. And I am hoping and praying that you will have internalized this and you'll do something to save your country if you haven't already begun to do so. Thanks.